All right. As we talk, actually, oh, did I need to change the music? Yes, I do. There we go. All right. As I eat and sip, and hopefully you are too. Look, you got some pasta? Hey, let's sit down and eat together. Eating together can be a part of Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of times, look, if you sit down with your friends, even if you're playing over Roll20 or Skype or something or Discord, eat, sip stuff, be social, and break bread together with your friends or family that you're playing with. Oh, and by the way, we had, I think, character art. Yes. Coffee Cat had completed. Yeah, look at that. Coffee Cat had completed his character art. This was for the Promethean game, wasn't it, Coffee Cat? Thumbs up and a heart. Oh, looks like Storm here shared a video from wherever he's out right now. I'll take a look at that in a second. One Word Adventure still going on, and we got some table talk. Yeah. Nice active Discord. If any of you are out there, and you are not yet on our Discord, yes, happy Kalania. Hey, yes, happy Free RPG Day, everyone. Join us even when we're offline. We have a lot of fun stuff and can help you with your campaign, art. We have a lot of mentoring and things like that. I'd say so, Diadems. Here, you want a little bow tie pasta with a lot of Parmesan cheese on it? In fact, you brought up a very good point, Kalania. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Retailer locator. If you come over here to Free RPG Day, you can type in this case, let's use my city zip code, and it'll make a map of all the participating locations around you. Zooming in, hey, who's this? Who's this person right here? Psst, it's me. So yeah, we kind of have, between Cleveland and Toledo, we're the only ones. Look, even going down to Columbus, like there's another one over here in Lima, and one a little bit south of Canton. There's a lot participating up in Detroit. Detroit is getting a lot of action. So yeah, make sure you check. Make sure that you check for a store near you, because Saturday morning, and depending on where you live, it could already be Saturday morning. I'm looking at you, Europeans, as I eat my pasta. It's Free RPG Day. Dun, 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 dun. Go to your store, pick up some free content. If they have people running some games and demos, then go and sit down and play. Have you never played the system they're running? So what? They may not have until a couple days ago when they read the mod. Enjoy it if you have time. Try something different. Europeans and Ohioans. Oh, that's true. Or I'm sorry, Fluffy said that. It is technically past midnight. It is Saturday in Ohio. Oh, Bobicus, yes. The hero of Canton. I don't think I have an orange hat laying around somewhere. Maybe I should get one of those. Benowulf, hello. We're having a little bit of a social eating in D&D right now. I do not build my own terrain. When I run, I usually just use a wet erase vinyl mat with a 1-inch grid, and then I use Crayola washable markers. Oh, your friend knit you a Jane hat? Hey, nice. Here, on 3, we're going to do a fist bump. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Put it here. Yeah. All right. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna make the rock explode. 1, 2, 3. Nice. But yes, free RPG Day, Alexander. There are stores that are participating in this where they get a kit of free role-playing samples and like rule books and some promo items like dice and modules and starter kits and everything. And they will hand them out for free to people who come by the store. It's similar to free comic book day. I don't know if I imagine, I don't know, it could be a global phenomenon. I'm not exactly sure. But you could try checking out free RPG day or free comic book day. There's also tabletop day that goes on. My gosh, if Freudian slip or me mushing my words up together. If you go and check for free or international tabletop day, go and see if it is available, because that focuses on board games. You wish you could go, GM Vault? You have to work. Oh no. Can you send an agent? Can you infiltrate your local game store with a minion? Shame I can't get up to see you. Oh, no. If there's something that interests you, if you look here, on the home page, these are the titles up here. These are the titles that are going to be available. Raven, if I have any of these left, I can try hanging on to one for you, but I have to give first come, first serve to the people who come to the store. Starfinder, there's a Pathfinder module. If you like Stranger Things, then they have this system called Kids on Bikes. Oh, where do you go? Games. So anyway, Kids on Bikes. It's kind of like a Stranger Things, like you're playing a bunch of kids solving mysteries, you know, horror, sci-fi, murders and stuff like that. Tank shoes, you're very welcome. Oh, the Viking Dice? Kalania, Q Workshop makes really good dice. They can be a little pricey, but their designs are excellent. They roll very well. And given big dice companies like Chessex, it's good to see sort of like a startup. Actually, they're located in Poland. So you have this nice international startup that has just grown more and more popular because they're making a really solid product. You have the Dwarven set for the Pathfinder. Oh, both in metal. Nice. I really hope that you're not playing on an unprotected wooden surface. Alexander says it's a pity there's no such shops. Oh, really? Well, Alexander, is there a market for them? Do you think that there's enough people that this is something that you could open up and find some success? Because look, there's a lot of hobbies that do transcribe their board games, their card games, and such into Russian. And like, I know Magic the Gathering, and that's a gateway tabletop game. If people start playing that, they're probably going to look into D&D and other things. Also, Alexander, I guess you would want to make sure to expand your products if there are a lot of bilingual people who can speak English at least a little bit. But also, role-playing games and other card games and board games are excellent for learning a language, too. I kind of wish when I was learning Japanese that we would sit down and play a game like Settlers of Catan in Japanese. Because you learn so many nouns, verbs, conversation. Board games and role-playing games are excellent for that kind of interaction. Kalania, they're totally weaponized. The smile after you say that is it's even better. GM Vault, I backed the Metal Pathfinder Kickstarter from Q Workshop, and I presume they've been rolling well for you. They haven't been now. I guess I'd prefer that the table gets dented, not the metal dice themselves. But have they held up, GM Vault? Have you put them to the test? Yeah, go ahead and put a link up, Kalania. Thank you for asking. That is very polite of you. Sorry, I'm doing a little bit of setup here to get us going into how would you populate an area? Let's take a look at these. Hey, look at that. Good color selection. Ooh. Woo. Oh, Spit, you got some battle tech down here? Oh, ho, 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 ho. Nerd. I say it, you're in good company. Oh, nice frosted dice. Just looking at the frosted dice selection, you're like, oh, I wish those were ice cubes in my drink. Like, I on a hot summer day, I just want to hold these dice and roll them, and I'll feel cooler. Let's see. We're gonna look at your nerd pedigree a little bit. There's the starter. Oh, there's the 3rd edition Faerun campaign setting. Oh, you are cheeky, Kalania. You are cheeky. Ultimate Bestiary. Adventures. Oh, okay. So some supplemental. Who's that from? 5e. Is this the Goodman Games collection of adventures? Revenge of the Horde, Skullduggery, Cobalt. Is this Cobalt Ate My Baby as the roleplay system? You have a great collection. Proudly, that's most of that's Kickstarter stuff from Nord Games. Oh, okay. Well, wear your nerd badge loud and proud. Cobalt Press Adventure and Tome of Foes. Okay. Okay. Alexander asked, the region which we created yesterday. Oh, yeah. So what we're going to do, Alexander, we are going to populate that region with some monsters or encounters. So if you did want to use a random encounter table, you would be able to do so here. Now, the concept is fairly easy. I don't tend to use random encounters myself. That being said, look, yes, I'm a broadcaster, but just because I don't personally do something doesn't mean that we shouldn't explore it as a group on our channel. Kraken Dice Kickstarter got me for 13 sets recently. Woo. You know, once you start collecting dice, I know this is rhetorical for you, Kalania. When you start collecting dice, the collection doesn't seem to stop. Where do these dice keep coming from? Are they breeding? Last time I looked in my dice bag or my dice box, I didn't think I had an orange set. When did I get an orange set? I don't even like orange. Ooh, this orange is pretty. Bubonic is carefully strategizing. Hey, lethality complex. Yeah, who doesn't love a good Kickstarter? In fact, you know what? Lethality, you and Kalania bring up a good point. Maybe I should make a Kickstarter recommendation page on our Discord. And that way, if any of you see something fun that's a board game, dice, role-playing, or whatever, that you think other people would like and want to get aboard, that you can share that Kickstarter. You can share that Kickstarter on our Discord. I think that is a good... Because I've backed a lot of stuff on Kickstarter myself. If any of you are new here, and you would like to interact with us offline, I should say off of Twitch, you can join us in our Discord. Fun general chat. You can share pictures, and if you need help, with a campaign or as a PC to make a decision, we have a mentoring area. So we have some people who volunteered to be mentors that are up here, and they mentor for different things. So Bubonic one here for role playing. King is wearing a couple badges: RP, Roll20 guide, art advice, and a writer's muse. Suchu down here is signed up for art advice. Pat's on for Roll20, and Dave is an RP mentor. So you could come down to our workshop, and there's a voice channel if you want to. You can come down here. There's a lot of things that you can interact with us on in our Discord to help you out. Thank you for sharing this, Kalania. You need sales in your shop before I can start buying dice. What shop are you talking about? Do you have something like an Etsy or something, Raven? Whoop. Lost a meatball. Hey, Pat, we were just talking about you. Nothing bad. We're going over the mentors, or the people who volunteered to step up and help other people on Discord. Well, Raven, I'll tell you what. When I make those channels, I might make something like a marketplace that people who sell on Etsy or Drive-Thru RPG or DM Guild, things like that, or if you sell stuff on eBay, I might make a marketplace where you and others who are into drawing, photography, crafting, or just creating and selling things, where you can show off some of your wares or a link to your website. That way we can try and interact and hopefully find some buyers and sellers and get these people together. And then we can have Kickstarter be a part of that as well in some way. So keep an eye on the Discord, Raven, and I will make some adjustments this weekend. A little busy for a while. Just got done a character creation session for the Icon system. I have not heard of that system, Pat. Can you explain that a little bit? Lethality, I'm thinking that once I'm a little more situated in the community that I'll step up for RP and Writer Mentor. I do quite a lot of brainstorming. Well, Lethality, when you're ready, over here on our Discord, come over here to Title Request. And type in, go in here and indicate which roles you would like. When I add them, I'll then delete your request to reset the channel and get everything set. And then that means your name will appear up here under the different lists, and people can click on it to see, well, do I want to message someone directly, or do you just want to tag a mentor, like an RP mentor, a Roll20? Because if you come down here and you roll, or you type in here, I'll condense this up. If you come up into any of these channels like Table Talk, or you go to our workshop and you type in roll, see down here it says Roll20 guide, or if you come down here to RP mentor, you can tag any, or you can call out people who have those specific tags if you want help in something in particular. Marvel Classic combined with Fate is the best description. Unfortunately, neither of those are helping me out, Pat. Okay. Here is Deepreef Bay. This was the area that we made a couple days ago as the campaign setting for this week's sort of more more lighthearted anime summer vacation adventure. We made a dungeon. We've made a map. We've made 5 characters. Why don't we populate the map with some monsters of some kind? And you know what? Not just monsters. Encounter tables are actually very suited to run more than just monsters. Encounter tables can also have beneficial interactions, neutral interactions, or it could be something like the weather gets severe, and that's what happens when you roll on the table for you've encountered something. In this case, you have encountered a storm. By the way, there's bay leaves in here too for a little flavor. You always got to remember to take those out, because biting into a bay leaf, no good. Superhero, okay. Hey, Plunder Loot, good to see you, man. Short night tonight. I'm off to bed. Okay, GM Vault, thanks for popping in and saying hi. It was good seeing you. Try not to be too slovenly as I eat in front of you all here. Alright, so as we're making our random encounter chart here, we have a couple different zones, right? We have the coast. We have the farmland out here. Foothills. I guess we could say that like forest and foothills. Or we could even just go, you know, if you really want to separate it, you can. But, you know, I'd be careful. Putting too much stuff together can seem overwhelming. Mountains, for sure, are their own biome. Maybe you just want to call the foothills their own thing. If you want to say the coast, if you really want... Oh, Trey Shorty subscribed. Well, Trey, if you're in here, I don't know if this is random or if this is if this is one of you out there. Trey Shorty, thank you for the YouTube subscription. Yep, lethality, the island would probably have its own because that's a forbidden place with a temple on it. So, island. And we can even put sea encounters. Right? If you're floating out in sea, that's different than walking along the beach. And if you want, I don't know, you can either maybe you put coast or river. So it's aquatic, but it's not deep sea kind of a thing. Anyway, when you're getting ready to do this in your campaign, break up your region into some distinct biomes. If you really want to micromanage it, and even like if you put a grid over this and you say, okay, I'm going to make a biome for, or I'm going to make like a bestiary or an encounter for this grid, or, you know, this quadrant and this quadrant and this quadrant and whatever. You can certainly do that. How much time do you want to put into it? And remember, if your players if you are going through a game, sorry, do you want to continually be referencing pages instead of running a D&D game? Now, that's why I usually don't run random encounters. But I don't want to instill the notion in you that random encounters are bad. Random encounters can flesh out your world. They can do a very good job of that. And especially if your campaign is themed on exploration and interaction, random encounters are almost intrinsically a part of it because you don't know what to expect, and so you can run into anything. In this case, you know, it's a settled area, kind of civilized. If we make these tables, it'll then more or less show who's around, who's doing what. So think then, we have our biomes in each area, and in fact, if you really wanted to, you could even put inside the city itself. You can split your probability of encountering something in different ways. Not all encounters, again, are monsters or bad guys or bad things. Some can be fortunate, others can just be neutral or lead to something else later. Lethality says, I'd maybe put a particular encounter grid in a particular place of power, as it'd be more, and it'd be more roll a percentile to see if a present event happens or the normal encounter table. Okay. Cake Boss, thank you very much for the follow. It's a pleasant discovery. Well, Cake, besides me being kind of rude and eating some pasta in front of you, I'm glad that you have found our channel to be pleasant. I presume then that you are a Dungeons and Dragons player, or you're familiar. Oh, you started over a year ago. Actually, given your username, do I know you, Cake Boss? Moxie Poxy's here too. Hey, I'm also glad you stated that not all encounters have to be negative. I feel like sometimes DMs forget that. Yes. And so if you come up here to the coast, actually, hang on. I'm going to take a step back. What Lethality said is true. You can put in a specific different kind of, encounter. Determine, do you want a percentile? Do you want it to be D20, which is kind of percentile, just in chunks of 5? Are you in the Unexpectables Discord? I am not, unfortunately, Cake Boss. And I ask if I know you because I know someone who makes cakes and lives in our area code of 419. I could be completely wrong though. You can break down. Oh, you're not? Okay. It could have just been someone that I knew. She makes cakes for a living, and she lives in the 419 telephone area code. And I'm like, oh, hey, is it this person? All the same, if you make cakes, or if you just like cakes, you're good in my book. I've been known to eat some cake. And some bow tie pasta. So Alexander says we can start with crabs, lizards, birds around. We can. And if you wanted to turn those into some kind of an encounter, we can do that, Alexander. Now, normally, if we're just talking about little lizards or like seagulls, common things, we probably don't need to worry about putting those on a table. That can just be narrated in the background. Moxie, don't blame me. You got to blame the Cake Boss. I'm a guy, so that's already off. I do enjoy my sweets, but I don't eat much. Okay, well, it was worth asking all the same. Thank you for finding us, Cake Boss, and I hope that we do continue to give you some inspiration and some creation here, because we don't so much play D&D here as we do create and inspire, educate, and come together as a community. Although, I will say, when I come back from my little mini vacation coming up here after tomorrow, I will probably be broadcasting some D&D content, and I will be asking for availability of people on certain days or times to see if you can make it out to play in games. Maybe a crab migration? Oh, like coconut crabs or something, Lethality? Have you seen those things? Alright, so yes. The common stuff, like Alexander is certainly onto something. The common stuff we don't have to worry about. But the uncommon stuff? Yeah. So maybe an event. It might not so much be a monster or a fight. But here, let's put some percentages. On the coast, there's probably going to be... Let's see. On a D20, every side of the die is 5%. So there's probably going to be a lot of things happen on the coast event-wise. We can probably weight this a little heavier to be an event-based role. Monsters, well, the Rippers can live along the shore. Those are the shark merfolk that are the antagonists of this story. There's other monsters from the sea or that can come down the river. So monsters are probably going to be prevalent as well. Why don't we say 25? So now we're at 65. There's a bunch of people who swim and boat and fish and do things on the water. So now we're at 80, and so we'll go 20 here. So if we're doing this, that means monsters are going to be on a 1 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 to 12. And then 13 to 20. So there you go. And now what you can do is you come down here and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Or even if you just want to save a little space, we can come out here and do, actually, you know what we could probably do? Six, 7. Ooh, why am I using a comma? 8, 9, 10, 11, which would mean that would be 16, 12, 17, 13, 18. Whoops. That's not tab. 14, 19, and 15, 20. Let's bring these back a little bit. There we go. Now we can copy farmland can go on another page. Sorry for the little bit of setup here. But hey, I guess we're learning from the ground up. I don't often make these because I don't often use random encounters myself. There we go. Now, we'll replace the percentiles here, but I wanted to just have a nice, easy copy. We're just going to worry about the coast. These are the percentages and the rolls we came up with. Now let's just take a look and see what can we populate along these lines, right? Let me catch up a little bit here. So Cake Boss, that's awesome and interesting. No coconut, or not coconut crabs, but ghost crabs at night are a pretty amazing sight to behold. If you have a link to something like that, Lethality, I'd love to watch it. And by the way, when you're planning this stuff, don't be afraid to go on YouTube or other, or some sort of a Wikipedia or something, and look at migration, weather patterns, battles, or things like that. Moxie Pox, what about a weather event like some kind of coastal storm? Yes. Cake Boss, you are welcome on our Discord. Just make sure that your name on Discord matches Twitch if it is different. Rippers, Sahagin, Sharks. Yeah, yep, we'll have those in their Lethality. Giant crabs, maybe even a dragon turtle that's coming from the... Oh, yeah. Cake Boss, awesome. Find your Discord. Yep, it's fine. It's always good to learn something new. Well, thank you, Cake Boss. Moxie Pox, I'm forever doing random encounters. Research is actually really awesome. Moxie Pox, and for everyone else out there, if you play D&D long enough, you'll have earned associate's degrees, you know, like, or other certifications, like 1-2 year certifications in fields of research and science and everything, just simply because you're doing research. You're investigating the world around you so you can translate it into your game. It is a wonderful journey of discovery and education. I think it'd be cool if we had some odd weather phenomena like a small tsunami. Okay, we can do something like that, Alexander. Murlocs, I mean Kuotoa. Or, Oh, did we already say Sahagin? Yeah, yeah. Up. The Rippers are like Sahagin. They're shark related. The Rippers are shark related merfolk. And actually, oh yeah, Cake Boss is here. Yay! Thank you, Cake Boss. Darkwolf and Derek alike made concept art for them. So in fact, Derek proposed that that this is the leader of the Rippers, and so this is his work in progress here for her. And she has something like a shark tooth Makahedal. I think I pronounced that correctly. If I mangled that pronunciation, then shame on me. But that's the old like Aztec sword that took bits of obsidian as the blade and sandwiched them between wood, and it was bound up. So you're actually cutting with sharpened obsidian. In this case, you're cutting with shark's teeth. And then Darkwolf came through and made a challenger. She made a very charismatic Ripper, who won't just want to steal away, who won't just want to steal away people's life and meat, but rather to steal their hearts. Lethality reminds me of the Bachelor of Science I'm studying, and should be studying for right now because of exams, but procrastination is a nasty beast. Yes, it is. Alright, so here's our first biome, the coast. So we've determined through it sounds good. That's our methodology. Yeah, it sounds good. It's our world. It's whatever we want it to be, right? So 1 through 5 are monsters. What kind... Ooh. Sorry, there's a lot of Parmesan cheese on this. When I was putting the cheese on, I opened the wrong side of the lid. And instead of the 3 little holes that have the shaky, as you shake your Parmesan cheese out, this was the one where you just open it and you can pour it out. I was talking, and I was like, yeah. Oh, my. Hey, Death Count, it's been a while, man. Walks in, waves at everyone, and pulls up a chair. Procrastination is such a long and annoying word to type. I wonder why they didn't make it shorter and easier to type. Steal the lives. Look at his meat on the back menu, boys. Yeah, that's right, Plunderloop. So we can look at monsters in the monster manual, right? If we go to, if we want to base our people on Kuo-toa, for example. Yeah, there's the Kraken. That might be a little high for what we're trying to do, right? Kraken is a challenge 23 monster that probably is not going to show up on an average D20 roll for a random event. Ooh, unless you really don't like your players. So we have the Kuo-toa here. Yeah, challenge 1/4. This might be a little bit easier. So for monsters, we can put here the Kuo-toa or the Rippers. We can also look at something like, let's see, this is along the coast. You have... If you want to reflavor things, for instance, this Piercer here, this Piercer could very well be a sea cucumber or like a sea urchin that you have reflavored to be a little bit more vicious. So you can go over here and type in Piercer. Here's a trick for creature creation. You look at real exotic animals and see how you can make them a fantasy version. Yes, Cake. Draw inspiration from myth or even reality. As I think I'm paraphrasing Mark Twain here. Truth is stranger than fiction because fiction is obligated to stick to what can be. Truth is not. if we go to the back of the monster manual, awakened trees and shrubs, black bears, blink dogs, and if we do go to the G section, here is a crab. However, F, and here we go. Giant bat, giant centipede, giant boar. Here we go, giant crab. And so you can come over here and make a note that we want a giant crab. Mud mephits and a sea hag. Hey, Technotron. Yeah, mephits could be interesting too, couldn't they? For example, you could convert the duck-billed platypus into the duck-billed platypus-billed duck. Fluffy sheep. But would our tickets cost extra for the double billing? Pardon. We could populate that, but keep in mind, and I'm not saying it wouldn't be exciting, Plunder Loot, it would. What you put in your encounter table is a reflection of what's happening in the area. If they encounter Aboleth cult worshippers, that would mean that we are open to running that kind of a plot line. So I'm not poo-pooing your idea. I think that you can have something like that be an encounter. As a DM, just remember, if you're going to put these cult worshippers of an Aboleth, you know, conducting some weird rite out on the shore, your party might say, oh, we want to investigate this instead. And suddenly the game might change into investigating an Aboleth as opposed to whatever you wanted them to do to begin with. Yep. You know, it's certainly worth mentioning, Plunder Loot. Now, here is a website also that can help. If you're wondering about, well, what monsters live where, if you go over to Cobalt Fight Club, and I'll put the link here in chat for you all. You have a setting of your own, one moment, gonna go dig up? Yeah, please do, Cake. I like hearing about other people's worlds and settings. You can come over here to Cobalt Fight Club. We could do, I guess we could, Technotron. This is like half exercise, half setting up for tomorrow's campaign. So if you want to link to custom monsters you've made, feel free to do so and we can reference them. I don't mind that. If you come up here to Cobalt Fight Club, you can say, all right, let's get an ordinary monster. And for an environment, let's go to a coast. We have 5 adventurers of, I don't know what level. We could keep them, we have 5 adventurers at level 5. And then you can have them, you can generate random encounters. Or if you just look down here, there's 9 pages of suggestions for monsters that that can live on or near a coastal region. So for instance, a basilisk or a bullywug, a bandit or an assassin, you know, because those are NPCs, you can find them all over. A bloodhawk from the monster manual. A bronze dragon Pardon me. A bronze dragon wormling. An air elemental has blown in from the coast. Guardian nagas, harpies. These are all coastal creatures. So you can just peruse through here as you're generating an encounter table for a party of X size and Y level. A water weird. How that would be interesting, wouldn't it? The mustache always gives you that one last little sip. You'll copy the hook? Yeah, no problem, Cake Boss. Now, for a lot of these NPCs here, for spies and such, that's kind of getting into what Plunder Loot is talking about. So maybe while not in a monster, right, 1 through 5, if we go to people, which is 6 through 8, you might have some kind of a cultist, right? Religion plays a factor in this seaside town. It is devoted to a deity that encompasses the domains of Tempest and Life. But does that mean everyone worships Tempest and Life? Mm-mm. So you could put a cultist here. Or, remember, not everything has to be bad or have to lead to a fight. For people, you could just have fishers. And finally, who else would be out on the coast? Cultists, fishers, and that'd be a person. So we have someone who's probably aggressive, someone who's very passive, and someone maybe it could go either way. By the way, we could also filter by alignment, size, type, right? Plant, oozes, fey, fiend, etc. So if we go humanoid, a spy, a thug, a scout, a Sahagin Baron, or a Sahagin Priestess. An Orog. There could be an NPC druid. Look at that. Maybe there's not too much of a difference between the cultists and the druid. A coastal druid of some kind. Yeah, divers for pearls, Alexander. You can populate this chart however you want, based on what you think the people who live in this area, what do they do? Because now if we have populated it with pearl divers, as you said, Alexander, you have just created a ripple effect. Now throughout this map, we know that there are reefs and other areas where oysters and other shellfish grow. And the conditions are such that these types of shellfish do grow there. And so by just saying that pearls exist here, we have indicated weather, water temperature. We have indicated some other aspects to what would be conducive to that kind of aquatic life that produces pearls. Plunder the Morning Lord. Are we in Barovia now? Yeah, you could just have random merchants too. Or if you'd like, an event over here in 13 through 20, you can have a merchant approach. You know, someone who has like a push cart or something, and wants to sell. That could very well be an event. Weather's 9 through 12. So we can have a thunderstorm. As Alexander put, we could even have a some kind of a small tsunami. I'll just put tsunami. We get the idea. Heavy fog. And strong winds. Our coastal events could be, let's see, so we have a merchant, we have a pirate camp that would fit the area. Pirates could, Cake Boss, in the story that we generated the other day when we came up with the map, pirates haven't been factored in yet, but as this is kind of a campaign setting that we've created together, that doesn't mean that pirates can't move in, or even be, or you know what? They could be an unexpected, so they wouldn't live in the area, but it would definitely be an unexpected occurrence. Just this outside force has come in, maybe as an event, instead of necessarily as a person or a monster. That could be. So the home it's not home to pirates, but pirates might come by every once in a while and stir things up. So sure, we could put something like that. A pirate raid. An event, jellyfish spawn. I'll just put jellyfish. Jellyfish are seasonal, and they can do a lot to like clog up the waters and make it very dangerous to swim, or they could be benign jellyfish. And so actually all the fishermen just go up and with nets and they collect all the jellyfish to turn into something. Yeah, red tide could very well be. So all the fish are dying. Pirates versus rippers. Yep, no, I agree, Cake Boss. I'm when you all offer ideas, even if it doesn't immediately like fit up here, I do try to okay, no, can we make this work? Let's jostle things around and see if we can incorporate it. How about a good old-fashioned message in a bottle? Or you just find a couple coins. Remember, on a random chart like this, not everything has to be bad. It doesn't have to kill you or fight you or poison you. It could be an opportunity to trade or just an opportunity to have something good happen to you. Yeah, that's true. So something is rustling up the elementals, and they're getting upset. Chance of a shipwreck? Yeah, exactly, lethality. You're heading to bed? Okay, Pat, thanks for hanging out with us and being a part of the channel again. Have an awesome night. I should probably, like, monsters, but this is probably market to say encounters. And also, yeah, it could be a leviathan or a whale or something like that. Some sea monster sighting. I can even put that up here, lethality. If sometimes, look, have a space or two that's just dedicated to nothing. Because I'll tell you this, if your PCs see you as a DM roll some dice randomly, like, oh, okay, you're going to the beach? Hang on. Okay, you go to the beach. All of a sudden, everyone kind of goes, whoa, hang on. Meanwhile, you actually just rolled that nothing happened on the chart. Yeah, you could populate it that way, Alexander. We'll just call this a sighting of some kind. So now we come here to the city. The city probably doesn't have a monster problem. So monsters here, we could even just put at 0, right? It's a developed city. There's a lot of people. They're on watch. Everything is pretty well good. Now, people, this is probably going to be the majority of our encounters here. We could even go like 60%. And then probably, I don't know, a weather event could occur in the city. And then our other 30% could be random events here. Yeah, exactly. A lost animal, a pickpocket, things like that. So here we actually have... Dun, 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 dun. There we go. You love making your players worry about random dice roll. I also have a thing when timers... I also have a thing with timers when my players are getting way off track or distracted. Sometimes it means something's going to happen. Other times it's me telling them to move on. Yeah, exactly, Moxiepox. Nothing will get people's attention like this. And especially when you look on the floor and you're like, I wonder if I should play that how it landed. So we have different people. You can encounter the town guard, right? The town guard don't have to be, butts to you. They could be friendly or helpful. It's just that you run into them and it's an encounter. Oh, how's everything doing? You're strangers here. Are you having fun? Do you have any questions? Have you seen anything suspicious to report? A pickpocket could be a person or it could be an event. Let's see. We also... we can also have a... we can have merchants here. Oh, yeah. A city leader or some other... plunder loot. And in fact, don't be afraid to do this, too. If you think that they're, maybe this city, their people walk amongst the other townsfolk, so they're not, separated from them. You could do something like this. Leader, and then come down here and put leader. So there's actually a higher chance of encountering a leader on the table. There's a 10% chance of encountering a leader. Don't be afraid to double up like that. A small child, say a street urchin. Con artists are a good thing to have. No city's ever perfect. Yep. So you can have a con artist. And so, I don't know, if you have like a street urchin, we could just say resident. 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 Let's see. We also had a pilgrim. This place is a pilgrimage. There's a monastery in the mountains that has a hot spring in it. And so this is a place people do come by water or by road. And so you could meet a pilgrim of another faith here as well. So maybe we go pilgrim, pilgrim. And lastly, evil. Someone experimenting. Hey, Glitch Mouse. Like a major and artificer. Maybe on the streets, though? We could have a, I don't know, just like a worker. You know? Someone who's, washing windows, repairing a street, evaluating a bridge, something along those lines. Savage or crazy that live in the woods. Well, we can put that as a woods encounter, I guess. So then for weather, we could do something like fog. Wind may be a concern. Although maybe a thunderstorm, because tempest is definitely a domain that is present here. Might be an event that the local wizard laboratory explodes after an arcane mishap involving an owlbear and far too many tentacles for anyone's liking. So yeah, okay, now we get to events, right? There could be a fire. There could be a common accident. Like, oh, save my baby, or oh, I fell off a ladder, or, you know, someone's like fishing along the river and like, the hook went through my finger. It really hurts and makes people cringe when I describe it. We can have a magic mishap, right? If you want to talk about tentacles and stuff. Oh, maybe there's going to be some kind of a lottery held that day. Yeah, you could have that as something in here too. Thugs or bullies. So we'll just say street crime. Yeah, or yeah, you could have an event where so you have a beggar of some kind as an event, not just as a person. Excellent. All right, so now we come out here. Now we're in the farmland area, okay? Not as highly populated. In fact, we might even have some monsters. I mean, such as what we call, like, look, a giant crab is a monster, even though it's probably a naturally occurring animal, a giant eagle or something like that. Hey, Glitch Mouse, we're making some random encounter tables for the area we made a couple days ago. Yeah, Cake Boss, go ahead. We have two places here. We have safe for work character art. So if this is something that you made, it's a map or it's a character or something like that, you can share. Look, art, maps, minis, etc. Locales, characters, and the like are welcome. You know, as long as it's safe for work or PG-13. Although if it's something, oh yeah, hey, there we go. And then if you have fun like pictures and memes that are inspiring or that are really good or fun for getting people creative or reference fantasy and role playing, that kind of a thing. And also sci-fi. Sci-fi is fine. We do a lot of D&D here, but this is really open for role playing in general. Cake Boss, nice. You like Automata then? So for here, monsters, I don't know, monsters might be, if we can count beasts, natural beasts as monsters, we might actually have more monsters out here. Maybe this is like 50% monsters. And then we come to people. People are probably a little bit more scarce out here. But I don't know, if we kept it at 15%, so we're at 65. Weather, I don't know, maybe another 15. So now we're at 80, and then there's 20% events out here. If we do that, this is going to be 1 through 10. This is going to be 11 through 13. 14 through 16. And then 17 through 20. Easy for late game enemies. I'm very fond of mob tactics. Oh, so you run swarms and whatnot. Now, do you use minion rules, like one hit and they're down, but you put like a hundred little glass beads on the map, or what do you do for your mob tactics and your mass combats, Cake Boss? Farming is hard if there's more monsters than people. Yeah, but we're also looking at monsters also just being I don't know, something they don't. A monster doesn't have to necessarily end in some kind of a combat. What if we put a giant eagle out here and they just spot it, like Ash saw Ho-Oh in episode 1 of Pokemon? Alexander, a living scarecrow. Hey, right? We have our exclamation point random planes, and there's some monsters there. A scarecrow is one of them. Something might have happened where, you know, maybe a mischievous little elemental has occupied one of the scarecrows. So sure, we can put a scarecrow here. Maybe if we had mud mephits, on the coast, maybe there's dust mephits in the fields. Maybe there's a shambling mound. That's a plant creature. And in fact, if we come over here, let's go back to Cobalt Fight Club. Let's go from the coast to grasslands. Yeah, grasslands. And in fact, they're like, yeah. Let's get instead of a humanoid, let's look at what plants there are. Oh, an awakened shrub, a needle blight, a twig blight, a vine blight. We could look at beasts. There's some dinosaurs, a baboon, axe beaks, bears, wolves, eagles, boars, scorpions, spiders, swarm of insects. Don't be afraid to put swarms, right? So we'll put a swarm of insects. Boars. Usually toss a half dozen or 2 or 3 hit enemies that do heaps of damage. Oh, glass cannons, yeah. I get what you're talking about, Cake Boss. Maybe a farmer's making an offering of his prize cow to a giant to keep it away. Yeah, so that could be an event, I suppose. You plan on having a farm somewhere that's dealing with vampire squash if they bother to run across it. Vampire squash, interesting. Moxiepox says maybe the farmers are suffering from a plague. Or from a plague attacking their crops. So we could come up here to a twig or a needle blight. An event could be disease. A sacrifice. Oh, giant wolf spider. GW spider. It's cutting it close. A giant wolf spider. Over here we can have a stampede. It's an actual real-world myth folklore thing. Oh. Well, my interest is piqued, Glitch Mouse. An undead farm? Maybe... I don't want to say no to that, but it wouldn't be within the proximity of the city. Not with it being as focused on life and life and the process of life. To run and to have an undead farm would be very difficult. At least for the circumstances that we had put out initially. What are some other little gribblies that live in the grasslands? Oh, swarm of rats. That could be... swarm of rats or a dire rat. Or, ooh, we'll put S, swarm of rats, dire rats, or what if there's a were-rat? You know, we talk about a disease plaguing the plants. What if a couple of the farmers, like, what if something has happened and there's a little bit of a were-rat disease going around? Or there's someone who's looking to infect the locals. Ah, yes. We can go hunting for elk. You might have a giant that's wandered in? I suppose so. There's nothing that we've said that giants haven't been around. It is an established place, but, yeah, we could do something like that. So maybe a hill giant? Just like pirates might roll in every now and again, well, maybe a hill giant's decided to try and move in. Yeah, gnolls. We could put in gnolls, something like that. Now, for people out here, I mean, you're just going to have farmhands that you would encounter. You might have merchants still because they're everywhere. They might like just go door to door selling equipment or services or things like that. What's someone else you might have out here? Oh, out in the farmlands, you might even have other pilgrims. A tornado? Yeah, for the weather? Well, I think high winds would be a problem. I think for sure thunderstorms are still a concern. Fog? I don't know. It's our call. Would fog roll in from the sea, you know, several miles far enough to cover the farmlands? Or could this just be wind, thunderstorms, or maybe... oh, you know what? The river is really... Ooh. We should think about this for the city also. But there could also be... an event would be a flood. I don't know. What if we put this here? Right? The river floods. What kind of weather? What would happen here? That's weather-based. Something that would affect... Something that would affect... If we were to roll in a random event, this would be an encounter, or it would change encounters of some way. I guess maybe fog, or we could call it some kind of like a haze. Like as the morning dew or something evaporates, it just creates a high humidity, like a haze around the area. Or you know what? Well, yeah, we could do a simple rainstorm, Cake Boss. That's true. Don't forget. Don't forget. Sometimes you could just have nothing. In fact, you could slot several things into nothing. Yeah, so, I mean, kind of as Glitchmouse is saying, we can come up with all kinds of encounters in the city. Heck, we could probably just bust this out into a percentile. Instead of having to worry about, 5% at a time. We could make a percentile chart for the city, and then for something simpler like farmland, drop it down to a D20 roll. But if you find yourself with a lot of options... expand. You can expand your roll. Or if you honestly think that, there's really only 2 or 3 things that I think are going to happen out here worth anything, then you could minimize your die roll to a D10 or a D12, or just slot in nothing, or, for instance, pilgrims. If for some reason the countryside is swarmed with pilgrims, then have pilgrims take up 3 slots. Okay. I am going to get up and take a break. We can come back and continue this, but I think that we've conveyed the gist of things. We really have our brains are simmering and ideas are steaming out of our noggins. So I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to get up. I'm going to take a quick break. And when we come back, look, it's part 3. We can talk about anything. We can finish up our encounters. We can talk about the party, and especially this last character we generated tonight. Woo! Woo! Cake Boss, I have an idea. A D100 set that can be divvied up in D20 rolls. So we have like a master chart that's like broken out into 20 specialties each. AKA how to make players paranoid, keep rolling, and have the result be nothing. Yeah, there you go. Then you look at him and you say, you got lucky. Okay, I will be right back. Give me like 5-10 minutes at the absolute most, and we'll continue coming back, brainstorming, conversing, and having a lot of fun.